Welcome to LA. I'm here at the Renaissance Hotel in Los Angeles. My wife is attending a conference here at the hotel, and I've decided to tag along. My dad lives not too far from here, so I will have a chance to see him. As you can see, we are right near the Los Angeles International Airport. This is the view from our hotel room. I'm recording this with my new camera, and so I'm still learning the ins and outs of how to work this thing, so I hope this video comes out okay. Anyway, what this video is about is we're going to learn how to play one of the Beatles' most famous songs, and at the time it was released, one of the most unusual, that being the song Eleanor Rigby. Now, what made this song so out of the ordinary was that this was a rock and roll band playing a song that sounds very classical. And that, of course, is largely due to the amazing string arrangement done by the great Sir George Martin. It was actually a string octet, or a quartet that was doubled, and recorded very innovatively, if that's a word. The microphones were placed very close to the instruments, and this actually made the players rather uncomfortable. But he got the sound he wanted. It's very dramatic. It was inspired by the score for the music for the movie Psycho, with the real sharp sounding strings. Well, we're going to try to emulate that a little bit on the piano. And so we're going to spend a little time. I'm going to show you how to play the tune and how to accompany yourself with the chords, and I think you'll find that this is a lot of fun. This song will be a lot of fun for you to learn how to play. So let's take a look now at this great song by the Beatles, Eleanor Rigby. Let's begin by playing through the melody. Now, if you're a Beatles fan, this tune will be very familiar to you. And what you may not know, or perhaps you've read about this, is that this tune actually begins in the E Dorian mode. So if you remember your modes, you know that if you play the Dorian mode starting on D, it's all on the white keys. And so you have this whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and then you're back to the D again. Regular D minor, like melodic D minor, would have the C sharp in there. And so in E Dorian, we have that D. And so let's start right where the verse begins, and we'll worry about that opening line a little bit later. Now, if you put your hand in this position, this will enable you to play pretty much the whole verse without having to move your hand very much. A lot of playing melodies like this, when you're playing single notes, is getting your hands into the right position. There's that C sharp. That tells us that we're in Dorian mode, E Dorian. And now look what happens here. We kind of go into straight E minor. We lose the C sharp there. But now we go back to the Dorian mode. And then we get to the chorus. Once again, you have your hand in this position. You're outlining the chord with your thumb, your second finger, and your fourth finger. And that enables you to play this very smoothly. And we jump up an octave. Now you got to cross over there to get that last note. Now here you've got a big leap. And notice here it outlines the E minor chord in second inversion. And now here, let's go back to the very beginning. You start with your second finger, and that puts your hand in the position to easily play what comes after. And then down to your thumb, and then you cross over. And then if you want, you can play this little figure. Now, if you try to play the whole thing, then you have to jump up, back up here again, and that can be a little difficult. So what you can do is leave off the last note. It gives you time to get back in position. There you can play the whole thing because you're going to jump right back into the melody. So take some time to learn how to play the tune. And if you have to play it slowly at first, there is definitely no shame in that. I've been playing it right up to tempo from the very beginning. But if you have to play it slow, that's okay. And then you can gradually speed up and so on. Now you're going to find that playing the chords for Eleanor Rigby is not too difficult. Because we're in E Dorian mode, we're really only using just a few different chords. In fact, in the verses, it's just E minor and C. So let's go back to the verse, and we'll worry about that opening phrase a little bit later. And you remember the accompaniment, the brilliant string accompaniment that George Martin created for this song kind of has this feel to it. And so you could use that when you play the chords instead of just playing, chords on each measure. You could emulate that string accompaniment. I'm going to play it very slowly so you can see how this will work. And then going from this E minor to C, all you have to do is move one note. You can get fancy and put that E minor 7 in there. And once again, you don't have to go very far. Your hand is staying basically in this position. And so now we're on the C. Now when we get to this chorus part, you can change the feel by just playing chords on beats 1 and 3. So there we have our E minor 6 chord. We basically have this walk down. So it will sound like this in the chorus. Whoops, got to start on the right note. Now, if you want, you can keep that rhythm going if you like. And then we have another verse. Now, if you really want to get fancy, if you want to make this even richer sounding, you can start by playing this on the first beat. And then keep the pedal down. And then change the pedal here. Then we're back to the chorus. Now, I'm not going to play through the entire thing. If you are very familiar with this song, of course, you know the whole structure. You've got this opening phrase, and then you've got a verse, and it goes from the verse to the chorus, and then back to the verse, another chorus, and it goes back to that opening phrase, "Ah, look at all the lonely people." And then you've got one more verse, and then it basically ends like that. So it would be... You can even add the little phrase at the end. Whoops, my finger slipped. There you go. Anyway, I think you'll find this a very fun song to play. So let me know if you have any questions or comments about how we can play this very popular Beatles song.